Hey guys, what's up? Tyler here. Um, we have to postpone the podcast yet again because of the same reason, because of COVID-19. Uh, you guys, unless you were there, like waiting for the podcast to come out, you wouldn't even noticed. But we skipped like 2 weeks before, and we skip weeks every so often. But we skipped 2 weeks, because someone we knew had COVID-19. So we're all just being very careful. Everything got back to normal. So we talked about the COVID-19 stuff in the episode like a few weeks ago called "We Got COVID-19," and here we are again. We had to take a week off. We were back. We really wanted to do the podcast and pump it out, but Shane hung out with someone who it tested positive for COVID-19. And if they hung out, I would be shocked if he doesn't have it, but if he doesn't have it, then we can get back to it, but otherwise, you probably will see a break again. Normally, I wouldn't do like an update video like this because it doesn't really matter that much, and I don't want to just sit here and talk and entertain you guys just by myself anyway. That's kind of weird, because the point of the podcast is to be me and Shane together. Really, it's to be me and Shane and Jeremiah together, or just, whoever we can have on as a guest. But the point is not supposed to be like a one-man show type deal. But I will fill you guys in some stuff because we talked about two things in the last episode, which I only just got out. The last episode we talked about Ben Shapiro a lot and his sister Abigail Shapiro. Ben Shapiro right now hilariously decided to read off the lyrics to WAP by Cardi B. WAP stands for Wet Ass Pussy. So that song is about vagina and sex and all the stuff that makes Ben Shapiro get really uncomfortable. So hearing Ben Shapiro read it off is fucking hilarious. People have edited it over a beat. I will probably put that in here somewhere. Maybe it'll be in the background while I'm talking because it's fucking hilarious to me. But the fact that we were memeing really hard on Ben Shapiro, and then Ben Shapiro just made a complete ass of himself right after, and he basically admitted that he didn't know women got wet. The joke is that Cardi B says you're gonna need a mop and bucket. She said you're going to need a mop and bucket because that's how wet she's going to be. That's called a joke. But it's funny, right? It's a funny joke. And I'm sure a lot of people find it to be relatable. Some people are probably like, yeah, it'd be like that. And it's just funny, right? It's just a funny joke. It's because Cardi B is kind of funny sometimes, and when she's not like drugging men and stealing from them. All right. I'll stop. It's not as fun to make like very edgy jokes without the guys here. Cardi B's got some funny lyrics in a lot of her songs. I don't really hate Cardi B. I kind of like her, honestly. That song is really funny to me, and it's about fucking, and she's like really aggressive, so it kind of has a good vibe to it. Ben Shapiro talking about it, fucking hilarious. But he basically said that if you need a mop and bucket, you probably have a medical problem. And he's basically like telling on himself, that he doesn't know how to, he never got his wife off before, or doesn't understand female pleasure at all, basically, which is really funny. But anyway, that's Ben Shapiro. And then the other thing is that we just asked about Biden's vice president, and yes, he chose Kamala Harris. Some people were thinking maybe it'll be Elizabeth Warren, but let me tell you guys something. If you don't know about Elizabeth Warren in the past, she used to be very, very really awesome. She used to be this big fighter of bullshit laws. She fought against the Republicans. She fought against the shitty, corrupt Democrats. Warren used to be a fucking pimp. Warren used to be so cool. And she still kind of is really cool, and I would love to see her have some power or be in the cabinet or something. I would have been just elated if she was announced as vice president, because it's not like I absolutely hate her, but she just kind of really let me down the last election cycle. I don't think Warren I don't think today's Warren is as good as how Warren used to be. But it's not like she's the absolute worst politician. But there was no chance that she was going to be Biden's VP. They've never gotten along. Part of the people that Warren used to stand up to was Biden. Whenever Biden was passing the bankruptcy bill, which is a really terrible bill that Biden tried to get through multiple times and finally got it through towards, I don't know, during Bush's second term, he got it through. And, Warren definitely opposed it because Warren is a sane, rational, smart person. And Biden is owned by different companies and, corporations that pay him to do stuff, basically. So the bankruptcy bill was a pretty big disaster. You could say it had unintended consequences. It's part of why we have the student loan debt crisis we're in right now. Student loan debt has grown to insane levels, and we kind of need to reverse that. There's been talk that Biden will reverse that when he becomes president. Hey, man, I will put the past 5 or 6 years under the bridge if you fix it now. If you just say that was an unintended consequence and you fix it now, I will let it go. But you motherfucker, that you did that the years I wanted to go to college. You did that the years when I was in high school, and then when I got out of high school, student loan debt was a huge fucking problem. Okay. So you motherfucker, you fucked my fucking life up potentially. Okay, you asshole. So, fuck Joe Biden, really. But if he reverses it, then I'll just let bygones be bygones, because whatever. I don't care at this point. Anyway, so Kamala Harris is the vice president. She's the VP pick. It's very likely she will be the actual vice president and Biden will be Trump. But let's still, all I want to say, I don't have the guys here to talk with me, so I don't speak for anyone. My opinion is I'm just going to vote for Biden because Trump is just that bad. And that's the thing. I rip on Biden on this show constantly. Part of the fun of the show is we get to rip on Biden and just lay into Biden. But we also lay into the Clintons and we lay into Trump. That's the point. The point is we're laying into politicians who really deserve it. But if I lay into Biden constantly and then tell you guys I'm still voting for Biden, I hope that means something. I just dislike Trump that much more. You obviously vote however you want, but I'm always going to make fun of anyone who's funny. I'm going to make fun of anyone who's evil. And if Biden is funny or evil, I'm going to make fun of him, whether he's president or not. But I feel like he would be a less evil. Well, it's weird to say the term's less evil when it's they're both bad, but whatever. Biden will be not as bad, in my opinion. So, though I'm sure Jeremiah and Shane have both talked about going third party. And I don't want to, like I said, don't want to put words in their mouth. I don't even want to talk about this stuff without them here to say their opinion, because I would love to hear them interject. I would love to hear them tell me what they think, or agree to disagree, or just completely agree, or if they've evolved on their opinions or changed their minds, or if they've doubled down on their opinions and stuff and wanted to fight me on it. That's all cool. So the point here is I don't blame an individual person for not being motivated or inspired to go vote. It is Joe Biden's job to inspire you to go vote. If Joe Biden cannot inspire you to go vote, then that's a problem. I think Trump has inspired me to go vote because I'm going to vote against him. So yeah. And so, yeah, that's all I really have to say about what we were talking about the last podcast that we will not be covering this week, sadly. Hopefully we get to cover it maybe maybe the next week. The podcast is definitely canceled this week. Hopefully we're back next week. If Shane has it, then we're not back. And I'm honestly leaning on Shane's probably got it, but hopefully he fucking doesn't. And yeah, I will say this. I think I'm going to start doing clips of the podcast. I've thought about this for a long time now, and we've had time off multiple times from the podcast where I could have just edited a former episode and cut chunks out and basically uploaded little bite-sized bits of the podcast in different multiple clip form. While editing this last podcast, there was just a few segments here and there that I just thought were so funny, and it was a shame that people probably aren't going to listen to the podcast all the way through, or maybe they'll see a video and an hour and 12 minutes, I don't want to watch that, And so my job, like my goal here is to cut things down to like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and be like, here you guys go. Like if you just want to see like a taste of the episode, or just want to see like whatever I put the title as, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like that sounds amazing. That sounds hilarious. I'll put that up. And yeah, so I already basically have an idea of 2 clips at least of what I'm going to do from last week's episode. I'm probably, if I feel a certain way, I'll go back and do other clips of other old episodes. But as of right now, I think I'm going to stick to just like trying to catch myself now doing these clips for these new episodes. And so that's the goal. The goal is to get some clips out here and there for episodes. So basically, yeah, pretty dope stuff. Hopefully the podcast continues to grow and get better. Next week, or whatever, next time we do the podcast, it's going to be episode 30. So that's kind of exciting for us. And yeah, I'm grateful to anyone who listens. Every so often, I'll see the numbers shoot up on episodes, and it makes me happy whenever I see that. So thank you guys who watch and listen. I mean, COVID-19's fucking up everything for everyone, and yeah. So yeah. Anyway, this one's gonna be ended here, and yeah, just like hopefully Shane's all right, and I mean he's gonna be fine, but hopefully just doesn't have it at all. So anyway, I'm gonna end this video now. I'm gonna end this podcast now. So y'all have a good one. Okay, see you. Goodbye.
In this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Hold up. I said certified freak. 7 days of the week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up, N-word, at your charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P-word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top if I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P-word is wet, come take a dive. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.